Hello, my name is Ramakrishna. Basically, we are discussing on the topic city creation. City creation, basically, we are discussing this topic. So he told that hospital basically gets the income. Hospital patients basically pay the amount. Basically, that is basically told given as a name as a Mediclaim policy. So the investment group basically gets the money from the patients in advance. Basically, they gets before. For example, one group basically told that from Bajaj basically one person told that basically अरे भाई मेरे पास ऐसा मेडिक्लेम है बेसिकली इफ यू गेट्स दिस दैट ईच एंड एवरी डिसीज ना बेसिकली वी पे द मनी बेसिकली सो दैट बेसिकली बजाज ग्रुप्स गेट्स द इन्वेस्टमेंट बेसिकली Bajaj Group gets the money and Bajaj Groups are paying the tax to the government basically. So that is basically the tax amount basically which they are getting. So this is also basically one of the income basically. So this is also basically one of the income. So hospitals say that basically we are getting the money, we are paying the money also basically to the government. So see the invest income and the expense basically, which are connected basically. Each and every things are basically connected. So just see basically how the things are basically connected. Then basically one other person told that ये सब तो ठीक है भाई this everything basically we got it. Now city is created basically. City is created. Now one person told that if disease basically if city is getting created it might possible that its process basically keeps on doing at that one time basically it comes that basically this is not supposed to process beyond this basically. So they basically what they do, they basically finish the cities only basically. So for that basically the defense expense basically comes into the picture because you can't basically uh, shake the entire world. Shake means earthquake basically you can't do. Why? Because if you are doing the earthquake, it is going to connect to the entire world basically. So defense basically comes into the picture. Defense money has to do the investment. Defense money need to invest. So that is basically the expense of the government. And when that defense money basically are paid, the city is ended, then basically the again expense basically comes, that is the city creation, and after city creation basically the income basically comes from that city. City is created, that is the expense, that basically we have already saw. Then cities income basically, because you are creating cities, then basically incomes are also there basically. So city income basically we the government basically gets. In India basically never basically city has ended basically. So India will never able to track that basically. But other than India basically many countries are basically ended. So in India basically India has never got that experience basically of because Hitler India का जमा ही है basically. So he basically never creates problem to the India. Lots of people says basically whether it is correct that I don't know. It might be like that basically because Hitler has done all the investment basically. And he basically say that basically lots of people say that भाई वो तो इंडिया का कभी गलत नहीं करेगा. So one of the king told that basically भाई तेरा मतलब क्या we are paying the money basically. So their king group basically started tracking the each and everything basically of the account of India basically. And they basically told that basically इंडिया ने ये expense किया इंडिया ने वो expense किया lease that each and everything basically they started like this. That are the things also. So this is also basically income of the India basically. Then basically what are the expenses basically? Then one of the person told that the process basically which are done of the cities na basically. For that basically lots of R&Ds are done basically. That this is the beyond basically city can do the process. One of the person told how basically that is you are telling that basically. So one person basically given one example that is one land basically can do the production basically up to 100 times. If you are doing beyond that 100 times basically then it is going to convert to the cancer. Same way basically if you are doing the process, for example cities are equal to vegetables, assume that basically one city created one tomato, that tomato basically is getting processed by the cities. They basically told that basically the process of the chemical group told that you can do the chemical process basically maximum basically 150 170 180 times. Beyond that basically you can't do the production basically. So he told that 190 basically if it get cross basically then so that all are expense basically, that all are the R&D expense. Beyond that basically if you are doing the process then basically it is a expense basically. So that is basically the expense of the R&D group basically. So R&D group basically have to pay the money basically. So that all are expense basically. That all are expense which government have to pay. And in that basically, if anybody gets cancer, head got damaged, hand got damaged, that all are the income basically of the hospital basically. So hospital gets the income, and hospital basically have to pay the tax amount also basically. So that all of tax basically are the income of the government basically. So see the income basically. So like this basically things are also the defense money have to pay, because you can't shake the entire world, entire country basically. Earthquake basically if you are giving, then basically it's a huge expense basically. Ask the France group basically, they are into the earthquake basically, how many money they takes basically. If you have to give the earthquake basically, what are the money they takes basically. So instead of that basically, one of the person told that give the money to defense only here basically. That would be sasta basically. That would be sasta, cheaper basically, you can say cheaper, city end basically, because after 190 basically you can't do the production basically. So that city basically have to end basically, because R&D group basically, that's why basically the R&D groups plays very dangerous role basically. They takes the decision of the numbers basically, whether the city has to end and what would be that number basically. So it's very dangerous task of the R&D group basically. They basically plays very dangerous role basically. They basically decides this city basically when city will get end. They decide the expiry date of city basically. That's why basically the R&D groups are basically very dangerous. That's why they are getting the money also up to that level basically. That's why nobody gets the job basically in R&D basically, but they are up to that level basically. They decides the expiry date of the cities basically. So you can just see basically up to what level things are basically connecting. So see the India account basically. India account. So this is the India account basically. One of the person told that they are very dangerous thing basically, which things basically are connected basically. So see the India account basically. And lots of basically things are basically connected with the India account. See the India account basically. India का account देखो basically. See GST, it has expense, but the GST basically businessmen have also need the money back basically, but they are also not doing the things basically. So you can just see basically, their people are also basically there basically. So see basically, so each and every incident basically which happens in the city na basically, that are connected everything basically. So this everything is basically chained. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this India account.